streaming? Oh, has it started now?
Yeah, I'm
Is it
pretty. Give
recording?
me a sec. It's loading. Once it
Alright.
gets going, it should go live relatively easily. I'll just make sure I'm muted so we don't get the back to go around.
We need some lounge music.
Alright, I think we are
We
live
need some
now.
good relaxing music while we're gonna be telling the most weirdest stories from Reddit. They came from the fast food. They came from the Reddit. I don't
Are
know.
these
Yeah, they
stories
came
like
from
RO
Reddit, the
or
place where
the
you.
they're from Reddit? Oh,
Yeah. Well, I don't know what title should we call the video.
I already
Like
have it.
some of the stories we were looking at last night, there was really weird stuff in it.
call it like just call it like this stream will be not safe for work, or just call it like just say don't click this if you're under 18, because then if you're under 18, someone will click it.
Hmm. Just
And
call it like
you'll get
no,
punished.
call the stream stories from Reddit live stream,
Call
and
it something
and
like,
then it just has in like in brackets not safe for work.
or you could just call it something that'll get like, oh, abuse the algorithms, like PewDiePie
Nah,
exposed.
I'm not the kind of person that
No,
abuses the algorithms.
no. Just call it just Reddit live stream for now. This I don't know. Just
Alright, let's see.
is it live streaming? Is it live
Yeah, it's
streaming? I don't
streaming. I
know.
don't think there's anyone watching, so let me see.
Okay, okay,
It's still starting. It's still starting.
okay. All right.
But yeah, someone's probably going to share it once it gets going. Okay, I'll just check the health. Ugh. Okay. I think it's going. Let's see. Link. Um, you guys just head on in and try it out, and then you can. That's what we currently have at the moment. Tell me if it's lagging or anything, or
Okay.
it should be working. Like it's.
Sorry, I'm just typing on my phone.
That's fine. Let's see.
Yeah, the stream's working pretty fine.
You can
Yeah, working
audio's
pretty
coming
good.
out
I'm
clear.
checking it. Yeah, I can hear it. Audio's like pretty clear. My
Oh yeah.
microphone's like really
What about
quiet.
my mic? Is my mic good?
Yeah,
Is it?
it's
Your
working
your
fine.
mic's, I think your
Oh.
mic's like the loudest.
Oh
Mine's
wow. Okay
the
then.
quietest.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even hear myself
Here,
from there. Then
I'll
it's
turn
I
you
had.
up.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's my mic doing? Is it
Yeah,
that coming across
that
okay?
should
Your
turn
mic's
it up.
fine.
It should.
Okay, cool.
Pretty much everyone's mic
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah. All right. So, perhaps we should like share it around, or I don't know. I'll throw it in some servers I'm in as like promotion or whatever. I don't know, or potatoes. Oh wow, people actually noticing the silver team.
Yay! Say hello to the people in the chat.
If there are any, I can't even see because like if I check, it'll just make me think the stream is lagging like fuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So hello to the people that have here. We're just sorting out stuff, and you'll be preparing for an interesting story time.
Very interesting story time.
Yep, we've got an interesting lineup for tonight.
Very interesting lineup. Very interesting lineup indeed.
Let's see. Oh, so we have 3 people watching. That's
Well, we can entertain for the 3 people that are here. Hello there, 3 people.
Is it live streaming?
Thank you for joining.
I don't think there's anyone watching, so let me see.
Okay.
It's still starting.
Alright,
Still
let's
starting.
see.
Okay. Alright.
Don't click off the stream. I will find you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take your name. I'm gonna take your share it once it gets going. Okay, that will work nice as a streaming. A story by the fire with Pappy Manters. That will work fine. Okay.
Stories by the
I
fire.
think it's
Stories by the
yeah.
stories by the internet fire, the digital flame.
A virtual fire.
Yeah. Apparently I'm kind of quiet. Oh, let's see. I'll try to fix that. Head on in and try it out, and then you can. That's alright.
Hopefully it doesn't pick up my phone.
Okay, that should work. How's that doing?
Pretty good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Alrighty, so without further ado, whatchamacallit? Are we... So, shall we begin our... I'm just being self-promotion and all, and stuff.
Well, my channel hasn't been like completely that active because due to my TV that I use for my computer has been was sort of messed up yesterday, and it's sort of broken.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so I'll just finish pacing.
Yeah, the stream's working fine.
Yeah, looking pretty good.
Oh dearie me, I think I've made a mistake. Oh my god. In Arte, I gave you power to use, not abuse. That's what you get, at least for now. Anyway, what was I? Yeah, just hopefully it doesn't. It's probably gonna be a bit of a loop for a sec because I was a stupid person and put on the whatchamacallit, put the audio for the stream on. But hopefully people can get by that. So Alright. Okay, so what now?
I guess story time.
Story time. Anyone have any ones they want to start with, or shall we go to Reddit and...
I think we should start out with Reddit.
Alrighty. Okay. Alright. So the first one that we have to go off is the infamous Reddit post, McDonald's employees, what is the worst thing that has ever happened at the play place?
We're in for a treat.
Yes, and this is why. Okay.
Like, any time like one of the employees or something from McDonald's will say something like, "Oh, I want to die" or "I wanted to die," I will be like, "I cannot relate." Or...
Let's see. We'll start with the first one. Some kid climbed all the way to the top slide and took off his goddamn pants and slid down the slide. Problem was, he shat the whole way down.
Oh god.
There was a trail of shit spanning the entire second half of the slide. We only found out because some other kid slid down the slide and came out covered in chunky liquid shit and crying uncontrollably.
Oh god.
We're off to a good start.
Fantastic start to the stream.
Yep. You know it. But anyway, let's see. On to another. The first comment under us. At this point, I wish someone would explain why slides activate poop muscles.
I only just heard these stories last night, and they're still funny.
Activate poop muscles. That sounds like something from. Just the word activate makes it sound like something from a Transformers movie.
Exactly.
Activate poop muscles.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. And it's like an old couple were there with their grandchild. They sat on one of the tables that had the tubes running over it. Kid pissed in the tunnels above, and the piss dripped down all over the old people and their food.
Oh god.
Artistic, I like to call it. Artistic.
Modern art.
I wish Carlos was here.
Yeah, that would have been.
It would be fun.
Well, maybe next time. Hopefully we can make this a regular thing, perhaps.
Oh yeah.
It's like our play place was replaced with a video games and a giant crawl and Happy Meal box quite a few years back. It's all in a glass room. That place is disgusting. Children leave food there, puke, even go to the bathroom. Also, quite a few employees have hooked up in the giant Happy Meal box.
Huh.
First comment: it sounds like one huge petri dish of disgusting surprises.
Oh my god.
Pretty much, I feel that our bathrooms are much cleaner.
And I thought that my school bathroom was dirty.
Now, I will tell the story of the best thing I ever saw in Playland. This was in Burger King, not McDonald's. In the South, these things are all called Playland. A few years ago, my kids were eating at Burger King, and of course we had to eat in Playland because kids. Burger King at this time had installed talking garbage cans there. It was probably intended to get the kids to throw away their trash so the employees wouldn't have to do it so much. Whoever designed these things knew nothing about children. When you put trash in the talking trash can, pushing your garbage in past some plastic-loaded spring flap that says thank you on it, the trash can would say, thanks for the garbage, or something like that. You know, things a talking trash can would say. Any parent could tell you what would happen next. Children know that trash cans cannot actually speak. So each successive child, having been congratulated by the trash can, would do the next obvious thing and put their head inside the trash to see who is there. The spring-loaded thank you flap would swing shut and grab the child by their neck in the manner of a squirrel trap, so they could not get their heads out, and with every flailing and muffled screaming, I would have to get rescued by their mom.
It's like something from a horror movie.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That must be so painful.
It's like,
My God.
This happened over and over. Kids of a certain age will put their heads in a talking trash can, even if they just saw the last kid get garroted by it.
what is this magical place that leads to?
It kind of makes them even more curious. Just
That's
one
the
kid
only
after
thing.
another getting choked by this evil instrument of torture. Thanks for the trash. It was the best thing I've ever seen. Kids leave, new kids take their place. All new victims for the magic trash can. I never got tired of it. Next time we went to Burger King, they weren't there anymore, but I hope someday they will come back for another try.
If someone hasn't written a shitposter about that, that would be like the best thing. Just have like a creepypasta about the magic talking bin.
It's like,
Oh my God. I would totally read that. I would literally read it. Like, I wouldn't care if it was thousands of words. I would be like, yeah, add to my reading list. I am reading that right now.
I mean, as the old saying goes, curiosity kills the cat. And I could have been
Exactly.
one of those kids.
Yeah,
like-
in this case it does seem like curiosity almost killed the kids.
For me,
Yeah.
I would have been one of those kids.
It would just be like, oh, please take me to this magical land.
I would probably like kick the trash can or something like that to annoy the person that was inside. If I thought there was someone inside, I'd like push it over or something.
How big was this, like, trash can? Was it Like, was it attached to like the walls or something? Or was it
I don't think it was that. I think it was just like your standard sitting one. The first comment, I want to see the face of the brilliant guy in corporate who thought of this when he is showing children a video of children getting their heads stuck in the trash can.
Oh my god.
Guaranteed there would have been children that basically pissed themselves as well, like, oh my god, it talks! And just started crying or something like that.
Anyways, what's the next story do we have?
It's like, I'm not an employee, but my aunt once got stuck in that spiral slide. Yeah, my aunt, she was like 40 at the time. I'm not really sure why she decided to go down that slide, but she did. And she didn't fit. They had to close the place down and call someone to pull her out. And the first comment, but did she poop?
Oh, did she?
Given the general trend in this thread, yes.
Yup.
Exactly, the slide shoot is practically a laxative.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my god.
Talking about poop and fast food places, I've been scrolling through a Reddit thing just for general fast food things.
Oh.
There's one I've managed to find that also includes poop, which is
The common
goody.
trend.
so just as a bit of a prerequisite. This is someone's mate used to work, someone's sort of friend used to work there, and this is an experience that her friend had as a manager at a McDonald's. And so one cold winter day, a hobo
That's off to a good start.
One cold winter day, a hobo walked into her store and went to use the washroom. He came out about 10 minutes later and politely provided a dollar whatever, needed for a cup of coffee. She gave it to him at no charge and told him to enjoy the rest of his day. That pleasant phrase threw him into a rage, and he ended up throwing the hot coffee at her.
What?
Wow! That escalated quickly.
Jeez.
She ended up calling the cops on him as he refused to leave the restaurant after doing this. However, the story doesn't end there, as later, when she was doing the store inspection, she peered into the men's washroom and discovered bloody shit smeared around the rug.
Wow! Wow!
What?
Jeez. Oh my
That escalated
god.
quickly.
That's reminding me of a time when I think it was me and my friend who we saw a homeless guy on lying down by a bridge. So he went to Greg's and then we bought him
Oh, great.
we bought him what is it? I think it was a coffee and a pasty, something like that.
Alright.
My friend went to go give it to him, and then he stands up, looks him dead in the face, and goes, "I don't want your charity," grabs the coffee and throws it at him, and then just knocks half the pasty out of his hand, and I'm just
Oh
like,
my god.
what? I was just observing, I was like, okay, I'm just walking away from this.
I take no part in this.
My friend, covered in coffee, just starts running after me like, "Go, go!" because he thought he was gonna attack us. So I just start running because I have no idea what's happening behind us. So I'm just like, "You're dead! Forget you!" And they just carry on running. My friend caught up with me and was just like, "Well, that escalated quickly."
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling down the rest of this one, so if anyone else has any...
Okay, let's see. So, oh my, kids literally take their Happy Meals in there and forget. Heavier things are always at the bottom, cheeseburgers, and there's a layer of chicken McNuggets and such. 50% of the ball pit is in fact edible. 25% balls, 25% poop.
Oh no. It's like that bull pit from DashCon, the infamous bull pit from that convention. If anyone knows about that.
Anyone knows about what? Sorry.
Okay, so there was this Tumblr convention called DashCon, and there was this bull pit there, and it was like, oh no, it was this very infamous bull pit that had a lot of stuff in it.
Oh.
And yeah, that's all I can remember from it. It was just this ball pit that was at DashCon. Like, the convention didn't go that very well or something. I don't know. You can look.
Surprised.
It was interesting to say at least. But anyways, any other stories? Like, was there one at like one story we was like reading last night that was in the middle of the like Texas or something?
We'll get to it eventually. I'm pretty sure we're going down this list.
So much stuff happens in Texas. It's like mad. It's like going central in America.
This thread is making me feel better. One time my son pooped his pants in the play area. When I realized it, I went in and cleaned it up. Before I was done, I told the staff about it. So I'm there cleaning up poop and see McDonald's employee. I said, "Don't worry, I got all of it." He said, "Thanks, that's the first time that's happened." Feeling embarrassed, I said, "The first time a kid has ever pooped in the playground?" He's like, "Oh, heck no. That happens about once a week. This is the first time a parent has cleaned it up themselves."
Wow.
Yeah, that was enough to make me change my mind on how much McDonald's employees deserve to be paid. Sheesh. Oh, a kid runs in one of those cars to the top, and he thought it'd be a good idea to take the slide down to tell his mom he shit himself. I had to go up there, clean out the car with a shit ton of rags and a bucket of sanitizer, and then I had to clean the trail of smears that went down the slide. I quit immediately after when I learned I wasn't supposed to be the one cleaning up shit like that. Wow.
Oh my god. Well then, I guess never work. One thing is for sure, to never work at McDonald's in America.
Yeah, like, I mean, bloody hell, I had a hard enough of a time working at one in the UK, so like...
Oh, tell us, please.
Like, it's terrible.
What happened?
Just, the manager was just like a dick. We barely got paid anything, the hours were just terrible. Oh, I hate my life when I was working.
No.
One or two friends. But like, what is it? Everyone else in there was just horrible. They treated everyone else like shit because they had to work there full time. Because they couldn't find any jobs any other place.
Oh hey Noah!
Hello.
You're just in time. Well, kind of.
Welcome
like
to
we've
the party.
been talking. Welcome to the party where we talk about. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I took so long. I had to.
It's fine.
It's all right. We're talking about stories of stuff from McDonald's from Reddit and funny but strange experiences people had there. Yeah, very questionable ones.
Not at McDonald's, but I worked in an indoor playground where we had a big version of a play place complete with a ball pit and inflatables. A 7-year-old was running and pooping at the same time, leaving a streak of half-solid excrement all across the arena. This was made worse by the fact we were having a dance party, which resulted in little muddy tracks leading to every part of the facility. Oh my goodness. Another time we had our toilets back up due to a clog in the main line. When the plumber opened up the drain to check it out, a shit geyser erupted to about 3 feet in the air, flooding the bathroom with about 2 inches of standing sewage. Not to mention this was the woman's bathroom. When asked to clean it, both employees quit. Being manager, I was left to deal with the aftermath. I have countless stories involving every form of human excrement at this place.
She's like, what is in those foods of making kids, like, I don't know, have that weird experience that just going to toilet everywhere?
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, kid vomited and proceeded to pick up chunkfuls.
It's just really bad for you. The food, it's terrible for you. Like, I've developed kind of like a semi-hatred towards it.
Oh.
Like I was working there, it sort of like ruined the taste of it for me. But like, I still really like the chicken nuggets from there. But anything else, I'll just be like, no.
Oh, okay, that's understandable.
Like, kid vomited and proceeded to pick up chunkfuls of vomit and throw them at other children, who then vomited. We had to close the
Wow.
play place for 2 weeks and have the whole thing heavy duty cleaned and sterilized by a hire out company. A woman got pissed off that her kids couldn't play. "I'll show you clean," she yelled, ripped the hazard tape off the door, broke the lock on the door, and proceeded to put her finger down her throat and barf all over. This was right before I quit. Last thing I heard, she was trying to sue our owner, claiming that the chemicals in the play place, which she broke into, made her so sick she was hospitalized.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Not a Mickey D's, but I worked at Discovery Zone type place in high school. Once on Saturday night, you'd host middle school dances. Kids between 12 and 15 could show up and do whatever they wanted without little kids about. There was always a pretty decent turn up. I saw the following things: kid getting a hand job in the laser maze, kid getting a hand job in the ball pits, pretty much just hand jobs everywhere. For a while, a kid from the ghetto JH ran regular dice games and that took place on one of the pool tables. I generally let this go. It's like unused condoms in every quarter token return every single arcade game. Kid puked down the slide leading to the ball pit. We figured out she was drunk and she later got arrested. A boy and girl came out wearing each other's clothes after a game of laser tag. Unrelated, my favorite. There was this slightly chubby, awkward, nerdy-looking kid by himself, not really socializing. I think his parents made him come. I gave a group of girls a ton of tokens, free pizza coupons, free entrance passes, etc. to go talk with him. By the end of the night, you could see him coming out of his shell. He continued to come to dances and was a social machine after that.
Aww.
I think I changed that kid's life somehow.
Well, what a hero. You made that kid feel good.
Definitely.
The consolidation. It's like a boy.
But at least it had a happy ending.
It's like someone commenting on like the boy and girl came out wearing each other's clothes after laser tag. I'm actually impressed by this. It would be dark as hell, and I can't imagine how this could be an accident.
Like, okay, so this was like some arcade place, and suddenly it became like this weird thing. There's a weird party.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow. I recall one time that our shake machine wasn't running so well. The shakes would come out very slow. They took forever to fill the cup. It was like that for a while. When they finally brought someone in to take it apart, he discovered a cockroach stuck in the shake tube.
Oh.
All the shakes he had been serving were filtered through that roach.
Oh no. You know, actually, for the story, it was like so. Like, you know, the milkshake cream to come out, and it was just gonna explode everywhere.
Yeah.
It just covered like all the employees and the customers.
Like, the thing is, we didn't really have much, because the thing is, the shake machine and the ice cream machine are the same thing. They're just both on different sides of the machine. Like, and what is it? The shake machine we never really had too many problems with, but the ice cream machine, I remember once, like, you would basically pull down the lever in order for the ice cream to come out, and it'd come out at, like, quite a fast pace usually. But the thing is, one time we kept pulling the lever down and nothing was coming out, and we checked, and it, like, nothing was stuck or anything, so we were dead confused as to why it wasn't coming out. So my manager like came and was like, "Oh, just let me do it," and then like pulled the lever down, and it just exploded.
Wow!
Like, ice cream just like exploded out of it, went all over the floor, all over my manager's t-shirt, and I was just there like,
Nice.
"Oh, okay."
Wow.
I was like, "I'm not touching that. I am not touching that."
Yeah, maybe you should be making ice cream more often. Sounds pretty explosive.
Oh wow!
Ice cream.
It was.
That'll get people wanting to come in. Explosive ice cream.
Come to this exact branch of McDonald's. We have explosive ice cream.
It literally blows your mouth apart.
Like, the
It'll
worst thing
blow
was as
your
well
mind.
is that we had like
Oh, blew
so
up the whole
many
McDonald's.
We had so many orders that day, like for ice cream as well, and we had to stop making them, like, just to clean up all the ice cream that was all over the store.
Yeah, so
You should have just released told the people that wanted ice cream to go take it, and it was free.
We just,
Free ice
usually
cream.
Free cleaning.
Ice cream machine's broken.
Yeah, it was just like, guys, we had a ice
Have it all over the wall.
cream day. An ice creamy explosion.
At the end of the day, isn't that what everybody's after? An ice creamy explosion.
That just sounds
Nice.
Explosive flavour.
Explosive flavor that'll blow your mind.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So stunned.
You should put that on the Reddit.
Hold on, I'll be right back. Hungry.
That, I mean, at least it was not like people vomit, like, you know, people vomiting everywhere, explosive.
Where was that?
It's like,
Maybe,
make-
That would've
maybe
been
some of the
horrible.
kids, maybe some of the kids at the play place, maybe some of them had diarrhea, maybe.
Like, we had so many people that would just come in drunk or hungover that would just throw up in the toilets, and we always had to clean it up.
It was
Wow.
so like, who's responsible to be cleaning up the vomit? Like, not me.
Like, it was horrible. I felt so sorry for one guy because he went into the toilet, slipped on it, and then fell like covered in it.
No.
And the manager wouldn't let him change his uniform, so he had to work the rest of his shift covered in vomit.
wow.
Like, it was horrible. Like, oh.
Wow. It's a McDickles employee here. No play place at my location, but I'm gonna vent about the most irrelevant things so you all have some insight about working fast food. Lunch rush, 8-hour shift, hungover as fuck working at the register. People ordering Happy Meal, not specifying which Happy Meal, just saying a Happy Meal. Me, which Happy Meal would you like? Parent bends down to their child to ask. Child mumbles, hides head in shame. Meanwhile, the line is growing longer and more customers are getting disgruntled. A bead of sweat forms at my brow as the mother tells her child to tell me which meal. An eternity elapses for this mere infant utters its first incomprehensible words. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Once again, the child utters something in Gaelic. Sorry, I don't quite get that. The small baby babbles. Parent will not clarify. Time to guess. Order a large sweet tea, 3 McDoubles, and a large fry. She's watching her weight, so she asks for no salt on the fries. Sees no irony in this. We have to make a whole new batch of fries for this request. She stops talking. Will that be all for you? She says yes, but what she actually meant to say was no, because she continues to order more food as I press pay now on my button on the register. Orders more lard.
Jeez.
Alright, will that be for here to go? Looks the child, gazes around dining room, looks up for something, anything, she just wants a sign. For go. My brain has now melted, blood trickles out of my ear. There is no forgo option on my register, so I make a guess once again. There is no way I've gotten this order correct. I accept defeat. Alright, that'll be 23.67. The woman's face drops. The room is completely silent except for the racing beat of my heart. I thought sweet teas were $1. They used to be $1 all over the country. Her rage is building as I flare a pissed off sigh. She wants me to change the price even though I am clearly a minimum wage employee, not the CEO of McDonald's. You people are robbing us blind. Woman has mistaken me for a commissioned salesperson instead of a cashier. She proceeds to go through the price of every single item she ordered to find that yes, indeed, our register is capable of simple addition. She hands me 23 ones and a bucket of change that somehow amounts to 65 cents. I'm sorry, but you need 2 more cents. Rolls her eyes, but forks it over. Alright, your order will be number 267. The order has taken all but 2 or 3 minutes tops, but the once orderly line has turned into an impatient lynch mob. I can feel their hunger, not for chicken McNuggets or McChickens, but for blood. I, on the hand, thirst for liberation. My lips manage to bend awkwardly into a smile as I say, I can help whoever is next. A large man walks over and Oh Fortuna begins playing. Are you guys still serving breakfast? It is 2 p.m. Oh, alright then. I'll just have a shamrock shake. It is December. End.
That
Wow.
poor soul.
Mm.
My heart goes out to
working-
all the McDonald employees.
like same, like working on the till was like, oh my god.
It's like anxiety.
Yeah, because the thing is as well though, you used to get so many customers coming in and they used to make like these dead unfunny jokes and you had to learn how to fake laugh. Because like the thing is like the thing is was as soon as you'd like finish taking their order, they would still be able to look at you because the thing is where they had to wait for their order is right next to the till. So it's just like, oh, they'll say like some dead funny joke, and then you'll put on like a dead obviously fake laugh, and
It's
then so
like,
they'll walk away and then just be staring at you as you just pull these dead awkward faces like, I don't know what to do. I was so scared.
Oh man. Luckily, the McDonald's I went to, like, there's one in Eastleigh, and such. It's like, you know, it's busy, but it's not as like bad as that. It's
Yeah,
pretty. It's
yeah.
you know, it's pretty chilled. It is.
Like I went to the one in Manchester the other day, like the one in town, and oh my god, it's so busy. So many orders on screen at once, and it's like, because ours was busy at times, but never near that busy. So we were just there like, oh my god.
Panic stations.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes, on to the next story then.
Not an employee, not at McDonald's, but one time we were road tripping up to Vancouver Island with my brother and my stepmom. We stopped at Burger King in that town with the giant hockey stick puck in front of the arena. So my brother and I, 10 and 12 respectively, scarfed down our meals and began exploring the play area. Now, this wasn't your average play place. It was huge, and they had this weird child-sized, hardish stuffed animals attached to the floor with Velcro. I don't know who came up with them, or how they were meant to be played with, but they resembled a harder, lighter punching bag in texture. Back to the story, though. Our stepmom Sapolo finishing her food while she glanced upwards every now and then to make sure we were okay. My brother and I soon parted ways in the massive labyrinthine structure. Sometime later, a random kid and I squeezed past each other while crossing paths in one of the tubes. As soon as we were clear, he glared back at me and growled, "Touch me again and I'll slit your fucking throat." Now,
Oh my god.
this kid couldn't have been any older than me, so I can understand. You can understand my shock about hearing this child no older than 10, as if he had a weapon. He was gone before I could
Jeez.
process what he said, and I didn't retort. Oh well, back to playing. I guess some kids are just crazy. So sometime later, my brother and I met at the top of a spiral slide. Being that he got there before me, he went down first. As I'm sliding down the spiral, I hear an argument unfolding below. As I emerge from the bottom of the play place, the scene becomes clear. Psycho Kid was all up in my brother's face, screaming in unintellectual obscenities. I guess the little shit took his time getting off the slide, and my brother slid right into him. This kid is getting more and more aggressive, screaming louder and getting physical, shoving my brother's chest like little bitch thugs do when they want to intimidate. My brother, who I'll point out at this point is a head taller than this fucking delinquent, is keeping his cool and trying to tell this shit to fuck off. The kid's dad is nearby, and get this, the hick-ass greaseball mumbles, "You tell him, Jimmy," between mouthfuls
Oh
of
my
Whopper.
god.
A couple of things went through my mind before I acted. This kid's unfortunate excuse for a father couldn't care less if the world ended tomorrow, and my brother can't as well beat this younger asshole without some chance of repercussions, and my approaching stepmom is a good 5-10 seconds away from the other side of the play area. I need to reassert my dominance over this hillbilly spawn whose best experience with violence probably comes from WCW, or is likely abusive shit for dad. He didn't see me coming. I ripped a giant duck from its Velcro binding and brandished it by the tail, charging towards the violent little brat. I don't think he even turned round at all. The first blow hit him square in the back and all my weight behind it. He tumbled onto the floor in front of my brother, gasping for air. I guess I knocked the wind out of him, but I wasn't finished. "Slit my fucking throat, will you?" I shouted with every string, each strike harder than the last. He was crying for his dad to help by the time my stepmom dragged us away. She was about to end the trip early before we explained the situation. In the end, she decided not to punish me, gave a heavy sigh, and chalked it up to a case of small-town madness. The end.
Wow, that is one edgy kid.
Fair enough.
Good grief. I'm so lucky that I never came across something like that at my age, or else I would have been.
Yeah. My goodness.
And I can't believe the kid's name's called Jimmy. It's like, you tell him, Jimmy! Jimmy boy!
In between mouthfuls of Whopper as well.
Yeah, it's evil Jimmy. That's what we should call him, evil Jimmy.
Evil Jimmy.
It's
Evil Jimmy returns.
Not evil Jim! Not evil Jimmy! Wait, wasn't that the name of that kid in the Scary Godmother? The Revenge, like.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god!
It's all becoming clear.
It's all
Jimmy, oh my
sense.
god.
It's all connected.
It's the Jimmy from the scary Godmother. Oh my god, it makes sense now.
One time I was working late shift on a Saturday, and I started to see people leaving the play area in a hurry, so I poke in to see what's going on. We get a very good look at a man that looks like an average Joe walking around the play place. I did a double take and saw a very large knife on his side, and he wasn't trying to hide it. He was pacing back and forth and looking like he was talking to himself. So 16-year-old me was freaking out. So I called the police and then got my manager, and she instructed all of us to stay at the back. It was real late and close to closing, so we weren't worried about the customers while she handles it. So the cops show up and get the man in cuffs and take him away. I wasn't in any real danger, but that was the weirdest / creepiest thing I saw. Well, until this crackhead motherfucker busts open the doors and starts yelling about how we need to let him use our phone. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Has anyone got any like personal stories?
Don't really have anything.
Personal stories, like I've been to fast food places, but I've never experienced stuff like that. Thankfully, I've just been lucky to never come across things like that. I guess it just depends where you are,
Yeah.
if you're in the rough side or not.
I know, because I went out on Friday, and apparently, according to because I got like super drunk, and then when I went back to my friend's flat and was staying the night, apparently, the previous night she was just telling me all these different things that I was doing, and I was just like, oh no, and she said the highlights of the night was when I went round to a crap ton of people screaming, and I quote, "My kink is respecting women." Screaming a bunch of people. These are the texts that she sent me saying, and apparently I tried to fight some woman because she offered me 1p and I wouldn't take it off her. In a club. Apparently I downed a bottle of I think it was WKD or something like that. In the middle of a club, and then we screaming about how drunk I was to everyone.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. And she was telling me all of this the next day, and I was just like, oh my god, no. How could I? That's not me. I'm a different person than what I once was.
The alcohol made you into a monster. It was your inner hide.
It did.
See, with the kink thing, my kink is respecting women. But whilst I'm all for equality and stuff,
Yeah.
I can literally see you going around with a fucking fedora, just tipping out. My kink is respecting women.
I don't even know why that would come into my head or why I would be screaming it. But apparently I went round saying it, so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
What did you just share in the Discord?
Let me.
It's like, I'm not an employee, but when my brother and I were younger,
my
I dared him
God.
to take a shit under the slide, then we put some rocks over his shit. Every time we went back there, we'd visit his shit. One time we lifted the rocks to see the shit had gone white. After a few years, when we went back, it had gone, and we were both a little sad. Getting attached to that.
I remember, that reminds me once of, I remember back after secondary school, like some days, me and my friends would go to the park, and we had one like really weird friend who,
Oh no.
like, we got given these like
It's always one.
like school diaries or something, and they basically had like our like school timetable in them, and then they had notes
Oh, I actually had that, yeah. I
yeah,
had like
for where we should write down our homework, or they would put attentions in it. And one of my friends, when we when we went to the park, he went like in the middle of this like bush, which bear in mind, like he thought people couldn't see, but you could see. He took a shit
Oh, wow.
and then used the diary to wipe it off. He brought it back the next day and got given attention, and one of the teachers opened it up and there was shit on one of the pages, and she was just there like, what the fuck is this? And he said like, oh, it's just chocolate or something like that. Like, oh my god.
Oh no!
Like, me and my friends
Beautiful.
we were trying to laugh dead quietly at the back, but we couldn't hold it in and just burst out laughing. Oh my god. It was so funny. Like, because we were just watching him in the park when he was doing it, and then we were just laughing our asses off, and people who walked past would just stare, like, for a second and
It's like,
then
what the
walk
fuck are
off.
you doing?
Like,
Just be like, what?
my friend was just constantly like, stop looking, stop, like, make it drawing more attention to himself.
Damn.
Oh my god. It was horrible, but it was so funny.
Who is this?
It was, oh my god, it was hilarious.
Yeah, the strange friend. I thought weird friend, but
Yeah, I don't really think I had any weird friends. Or at least the ones that are weird are watching, so I can't say anything. I said nothing.
I mean, I don't know. I just remember some weird people at my school, some interesting people. There was this one girl. I can't remember her name. Oh my god, talking about this makes me laugh. I can't remember the girl's name, but basically she was really loud. Like, she was like a shouty mouth. She was one of those ruffian girls. She had like a big bow in her hair, and she was with all the troublemaking like people. I think she was like the troublemaker of the group. And I just remember I was in the rain, was just listening to my music, and she comes up to me and saying, "Oi, do you want some yogurt?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want any yogurt." She's like, "No, you should have my yogurt." And then she like got her spoon and go, "I'm gonna throw yogurt." Just like I just ran, I book it. It's like,
Wow.
no, I was
Like-
terrified.
That was literally exactly what happened to me. Like, because my friend had like, you know that what is it? You know Muller Light.
Oh yeah.
But you know the ones that have like the like chocolate sort of like biscuit pieces that you would pour into the yogurt. Or like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
I say my friend, but we weren't really friends. But like literally, what is it? Every lunchtime he would sit next to me. He would eat the biscuit parts of it, and then he would just not want the yogurt. So he'd just be like, "Eat this yogurt, eat it now," to me, and I'm just like, "No, leave me alone."
Wow. I should have told that story, that funny story on Carlos's live stream, because I thought I couldn't think of any stories, but that was the one that happened. At least I said it now.
Yeah, probably nobody watching
man.
this. Oh well, what you can do? Your chair creaking. Anyway, shall we continue with Reddit stories, or
yes.
anyone else got anything?
Well, yeah. Let's continue with like the Reddit stories from McDonald's and stuff and other fast food places, because I know there was a really good one in there that was just funny.
When I worked at McDonald's, hired June 4th, 1999, quit October 31st, 1999. That was a long 4 months. Our closing manager would regularly let some of the high kids schools stay later than lobby closing time. I was 16 at the time, the manager in his early 20s, so obviously didn't give a shit. Oftentimes we would just be pick up a couple of cases of beer when we were closing on a weekend, and we'd just all fuck around instead of working. This was the reason why we would be there until 2:30 a.m. closing usually. So let's see where to start. We could get the food trays and sit on them, then go down the slide. You go super fast, like really fast, and we could see who could get to the furthest distance on exit. I know of 3 occasions where someone had sex in the ball pit. Said people who were fooling around or having sex in the ball pit usually lost things in there, i.e. cell phones, condoms, packs of cigarettes, half-drunk beer bottles. Previous comment about drinking after closing time. One kid brought a BMX bike into the plays and proceeded to try grind away rails on the seating there. About the 1 or 2 tables the parents sit on and eat while their kids play, he fell and split his head open real good. He left the place still bleeding, not wanting to call anyone because he was also drinking at the same time. He was maybe 16 or 17. The above-mentioned manager was fired sometime later when someone forgot to clean up the previous night closing antics. The opening manager found half a bottle of Absolut, 3 cans of beer, and next to the ice chest next morning. So ended the late nights at McDonald's. On a side note, one guy who worked there would go into the walk-in freezer and smoke a bowl before every children's party we had to host. Not sure if they still do that kind of thing there, because in his own world, it's the only way I can deal with the fucking brats.
Jeez.
Well then. Is anyone still there? I thought I would lost connection. Okay.
I'm still here.
Oh, I remember once, back in primary school, I think we were doing like a play or something of Oliver Twist. And then we were
boy.
I was doing auditions, and then I think I auditioned for like the lead role. Didn't get it, someone else got it in like my class. And then what ended up happening was, on the day that we'd done the live show in front of everyone, he had like uncontrollable sneezing. So whenever it would come to like doing a song, he would keep sneezing in the middle of it. So he'd be like, I'm real bad, like in front of everyone, in the thing, and then everyone just started laughing at one point.
Wow.
And then he started crying because he was so embarrassed. But he was just there like, like sneezing while he was crying. Like,
wow.
The poor kids. That's terrible.
I felt so bad for him because like that must have been so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's one of the worst.
Shamers, have you got?
There was. I can't remember whether I've mentioned this one in the last live stream we were all part of on Carlos's channel. But it was after a night out. I was the designated driver, so I hadn't really been drinking. And I was taking two guys home. One of them lived next door to myself. And so we thought, we've had a decent night, let's finish with McDonald's. So we popped into this thing, because the other two, one was a lot more drunk than the other. And the one that was the drunkest was the one that decided to go order first. And he spent ages just looking at everything, deciding what he wanted to eat. Mm-hmm. And the guy that was behind, bearing in mind that this is maybe 10-15 minutes before this McDonald's is supposed to close, this is like, closed at 2 a.m, we're there at like 22, quarter to 2. Just night out. And the guy that's behind him starts getting really sort of, you can tell the longer this guy, sort of, he's chatting to the workers and he's, deciding what he wants to eat. And the guy behind him is getting really sort of,
Annoyed.
Annoyed and sort of pissed off. And this guy ends up ordering. This drunk guy ends up ordering, and the guy behind him ends up like almost starting a fight with him. like just because he's like got that sort of wound up and pissed off. Turns out this guy wanted like 15 Big Macs or something ridiculous like that.
Oh, God. Wow.
It was something like ridiculous. And we ended up going back out to the cars. We'd all got McDonald's, whatever. And this guy walks past and just kind of makes a really sort of snide comment of "nice car, lads," kind of thing,
Yeah.
And he just sort of drives. Our drunk mate was being, quite slow and being, but this guy was being overreacting to most of it. And so he sort of "nice car, lads," and tries driving past in his like huge sort of like 4x4.
Did he crash it?
No, the less drunk mate lobbed a chicken nugget. It literally went in through this moving 4x4 passenger window, which is open, and twatted the driver in the face.
Wow.
The driver then stopped, got out, and almost started the second fight.
Oh, jeez.
I know. Once, like, I threw a chicken nugget at a friend because he kept talking, and like, what is it? I was trying to like sleep because we were back at his flat and then we'd all just gotten McDonald's. So like, and he wouldn't stop talking when I asked him to because he was like slightly drunk. And so I got a chicken nugget, like threw it dead hard at his face, and it landed in his mouth. And then he just started like chewing it and ate it, and he was just like, "Oh, thanks for the nugget." And I was like, "That wasn't what I meant to do."
So
Nice.
It was so lucky, but I really didn't want it to happen. So I was just like, "The universe hates me." Like,
I would have probably laughed at that. Just be like, that was
I did laugh, but it annoyed me at the same time.
It's like, how could this have happened?
It's like, oh God, why?
Another story now. One sec.
Story time.
You know that moment when it's like, not the play place, but the bathroom. I used to work in a record store that was right next to a McDonald's that my friend managed. One day I go in there for an Egg McMuffin and I run into her. She was obviously upset about something and I asked what was wrong. Apparently for a solid week someone has been taking all the paper from the women's bathroom, bringing it to the men's, using all the women from the men's, and building a massive paper nest in the middle of the bathroom floor.
What are you gonna do? Lay eggs?
When I say all the paper, I'm talking about all the toilet paper, hand towels, protective seat paper, everything. And to top it off, pun intended, the person would take a big old greasy shit right in the middle of the nest.
Oh.
They would
I guess that's the bird egg.
they would then vanish and they would then leave and vanish without trace. I dubbed the person the shitbird bandit. The McDonald's employees have spent a week trying to figure out who it was because they were always having trouble with so many regulars. My friend said it was likely one of the 3 bums that came in every day. One day, anyway, I came in a few weeks later, and all the employees were on high alert because they still haven't caught the person or knew who it was. This shitbird was elusive. Finally, some time passed, and she came into the store to tell me that she finally caught the guy in the act. It ended up being some relatively normal guy in his early 20s that came in every morning for breakfast. Apparently, everyone this guy knew and the employees filled him out of the even the employees filed him in on the details of the hunt for him. When the dude was caught, he ran with his pants around his ankles, and they never saw him again.
Wow.
I told this story to a friend a few years ago, and he told me a story that happened to him at the same McDonald's. He went in to use the bathroom once, walked in a bum taking a shower in one of the sinks. The bum had clogged the sink with paper, let it overflow, and overflow over the sides, which had created a makeshift shower. The bum was sitting on the floor underneath the sink, letting the water drip onto him. My buddy walked in, made contact, and the bum just whispered, "Shh, don't tell nobody." He just noped the fuck out of there. Just imagine that, though.
Beautiful. That's like something from like a scene in The Simpsons or something.
Yeah, literally.
not McDonald's, but I used to work at Chuck E. Cheese's. Had a
Oh
12-year-old
boy, this
boy
would be fun.
think it would be a good idea to fap in the sky tubes. He also apparently thought that the end piece was made of clear plexiglass and it was a good place to do so. Not to mention the fact there was a 4-year-old girl in the same compartment. When I confronted the parents about it, the mother told me that he's been doing that for the last few weeks and it's his way of expressing himself. Wow.
Oh dear.
Wow. Let's see. Oh,
I've got one. I think
oh.
another one from Reddit.
Alright, let's hear it.
When I was 15, I worked at a Chick-fil-A, and I was cleaning the playground one day, and a customer complained about some kid shitting on this slide.
Oh my god.
Good start to any
Yeah, yeah. You know it's gonna be good when it starts with shit.
Exactly.
Someone does a doo-doo.
I promptly got my co-worker to help me inspect the shitty slide. When
Right.
When I looked at the slide, I noticed that the shit was smeared from the top of the slide down to the bottom. So I cleaned the bottom half, and I cleaned the bottom half, then I cleaned the top half, resulting in the middle of the slide still being shitty. So my friend lowered me down from the top of the slide by my 2 feet. As he did, my cell phone fell out of. As he did, the cell phone fell out of my pocket and slid through the shit. Then my friend let my leg go.
Oh no.
Resulting in me sliding headfirst through shit. No, never again will I clean a shitty slide.
It's
the rhyme.
story for them.
The sibilance.
Oh my goodness. My heart goes out to employees who have to clean slides. My heart goes out to those people. You are the true. You are true heroes of fast food
The
restaurants.
true heroes.
Of fast food
I feel
restaurants.
just sorry for fast food workers in general. It's horrible.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, there's another one in the post, like a linked post underneath, actually, just saying, had a similar experience. In my time working at Burger King, the manager gets the 3 employees working at the time together. He says something like, "We're drawing straws to see who cleans the bathroom," and I'm like, "Whoa, this isn't normal."
This ain't no normal cleaning up thing.
I run to the bathroom to see what's up. Shit is literally sprayed up to like chest height. I promptly came back and told my manager it will never happen. Too long didn't read. Someone projectile shat all over the walls.
Oh my god.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
You would have to be so like have diarrhea is so
Yeah.
Explosive diarrhea. That's
exactly.
Not just explosive diarrhea, projectile diarrhea.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
like
Wow.
that's on like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
oh my god, that's just
Difference between a pop and a river.
Oh god.
Oh no. Oh
Wow.
my goodness. Anyways, moving on from that horrific image.
Oh my goodness. Fuck, I need to get this off my chest. I used to work at McDonald's. It was snap dab in the middle of redneck meth head mecca.
Yes.
Chil-
This story.
Children were almost always unattended to the point where we were told by our 2 managers to stop reporting it to the police until a few hours went by, just due to the sheer number of reports. We always had nearly two or three homeless men or women sleeping in the tables after ordering a coffee, and we were just constantly inundated by the broken and uneducated trajologies that America has given up on. One day, a lady told us that 2 kids were rubbing their dicks together in the play area, and from her comment, I thought she meant like tiny little kids. No, as luck would have it, we go in and see 2 12 or 13-year-olds clearly Clearly mentally ill children, rubbing their respective oddly shaped panisia against each other. I yelled them to get their pants on and get out, apologized to the lady, began the process of cleaning out their play place. That wasn't the weirdest memory of my time as a Mickey D's employee, but it was definitely my most formative one, because after cleaning up the semen of two 13-year-olds becomes part of the reason why you're paid, something changes and the world just seems to really come together.
I was looking forward to that story because it's just
The ending.
it's just a weird story. It's just
The
the
en-
endings. Oh my god.
The world really starts to come together. I took my then 3-year-old daughter to Playland one day when it was rainy and awful outside. She climbed around up around the tubes where there's some kid in diapers and shorts, but no shirt came down the slide running over to his parents' table. I couldn't hear them, but there was a commotion at the table and they abruptly left. 5 minutes later, another kid, maybe 7 or 8 years old, came down the slide, and when she got to the bottom, she yelled, "It's poop!" And it came out all echoey as if she said it in slow motion. Then all the kids inside Playland started panicking and trying to get out like someone kicked their anthill. The fastest way to get out of Playland? Oh, it's my daughter. Parents start climbing in and trying to get their kids out, and there was a kind of grown-up pile-up at the entrance, effectively blocking both ends with poop or grown-ups. It was one of the most anxiety-inducing moments of my life, because I had no real way to get to her and just had to sit there waiting for the pack of idiots to clear out and praying that she wasn't trying to fast-track it down the shit slide. Thank God my kid isn't a moron. She hid in the section around the back with a little steering wheel that looks like a car until everyone was gone, and then she climbed down the way she came in. We don't go there anymore.
Jeez. That story. But just the echo, the slow version.
It's poop.
That's like so from a movie. Oh my god. Most of the stuff from these stories just feel like that
Yeah.
it could have been a scene from a movie.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. Oh my goodness, it's the mulch story, Megan.
Oh my god. What was the story again?
The mulch one.
The mulch one. Okay,
I
read
used,
it in the
I used to work in the local plant store. This plant store...
Oh, this one!
This was the local store that had the following, as well as the local garden guy who showed up at the zoo, random city events, and had a small segment in the local TV cable network. I know it existed, whatever. One day I had the extreme misfortune of working. It was plus 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was not a covered store. When I say it wasn't covered, I mean we were completely open to the sun. In addition to the sun fucking us non-stop, giant piles of mulch would be in a constant state of decomposition. This wouldn't suck too much, except we had to move it from point A to B, B to C, and then back to A. I assume this was to keep the mulch fresh looking, and to make the labour look useful. I have no idea. All I know is that you have to keep the mulch in warm temperatures still for too long or it gets really hot. The previous statement is kind of important. This day we had a terrible customer. It was a large woman with a somehow larger son. We're talking about a 12-year-old kid, a 12-year-old and 35-year-old, and the child was still the larger one. I know it's probably not his fault, but meh. That kid and his mother walked around the store for a while. They looked at all the plants, the trees, the perennials, the annuals, the hay bales, the cacti, and the fucking mulch. I don't know why they lingered about the mulch for so long, but fuck, they spent some time there. The mother came in, the mother asked our local garden guy about the mulch for 25 minutes. Was pretty normal. Me and the other two guys working were watching them out of boredom as we had been stuck with deheading duty, just picking the dead flower heads off flowers. While the mother was talking to the garden guy, the little kid had decided that the best place to shit was the nearby pile of mulch. This wouldn't have mattered too much, except if we had actually been turning the mulch. Fuck, we hadn't turned that stack in 2 weeks, and nobody even bought that kind. It smelled terrible. We had been deadheading, not really paying attention to two. When the smell hit, they had been gone from that area for about 20 minutes when this ultra ridiculous smell of burning feces hit us in the face with the rage of 1,000 shit flowers. After some customers complained, me and a coworker were immediately dispatched to look at it. This is a family-run business, so it was a kind of, I saw you first, you and the next person I see are going to find that smell and get rid of it. I was off to look for that fun scent. That kid had shit in a pile of mulch, and I kicked some wood chips over it. The mulch had grown so hot from not being turned over that it was effectively cooking the shit. The whole place smelled like grilled shit for 2 weeks after that incident. The kicker, the woman, and the kid were never kicked out or asked to leave. Wow.
Jeez.
It's like, fuck, I can't believe a kid shit in mulch and made an oven out of it.
He was just like, well, I guess no one will know.
But we do. We know what you did.
We know what you
Everyone
did last
knows.
summer.
We know what you did.
Last summer.
No.
Everyone knows now.
We know you took a dump in there. A big steaming dump.
We know you made a mulch oven with your shit.
Oh my gosh.
I got another one talking
Oh.
about feces and stuff.
Oh my goodness, this
Excellent.
whole stream is about feces.
Another Reddit. Yeah, this is basically a fast food shit or customer service shit. So this is another one from Reddit. I worked at a McDonald's in Iowa for around 3 years. One Sunday I got called to come in to help with the lunch rush, as they were having troubles. Figuring I would only be assisting them through the rush, I came in for a couple of hours. Dear Lord, I had no idea what I was in for.
Oh my god.
The second I walk into the place, I get the uttermost disgusting and gut-wrenching smell I've ever faced. The
Oh my gosh, that's describing words.
The sewer had backed up and was coming up through the drainage grates in the floor, all throughout the back of the store. There were literal turds floating in shit water, about 1 inch high, from behind the counter all the
my
way to the back
God.
of the storage.
I can just picture it. Oh god.
I told the managers that were working that we needed to close down immediately because this violates countless health codes. I was told to call the owner and tell him this, as everyone else was afraid of the old money-hungry hag. After explaining the situation to him, he basically told me to nut up and squidgy through the shit out the back door.
Because
Wow.
someone's
So the-
gotta do it.
So that's what we did. There was countless comments from customers about the smell, so I blatantly told them exactly what it was. Not a single one left, not a single one gave a single fuck. They all ordered the food, even though they could see the feces. This is also the day I lost hope in people.
Oh no.
I'm really not surprised.
Oh no. Okay, this is actually, okay, I know this is going back to the garden again, but it kind of reminds me of a story that's a little different from last time, but I remember we went to this gardening center, and it was an interesting place. Not many people went there, because I don't think nobody knew it was there. I don't know, it was like in the winter and stuff, but it was also a place known for cats being there. A lot of stray cats would be there. That was like their place to be there. And it was like I think the cats were fine, but there was one of the cats that had like a eye, who had no eye, just like, you know, half blind, and pretty much I like to believe that's the leader of the cats. They're all part of this one big group, and that's the leader, like the alpha, like the elder wise cat. Who knows all. But it's like the problem was there was a lot of like cat drop stuff. I think the reason why not many people went there is because of like all the stray cats being there. It was like there is pretty much the place they call home, which is fair enough, I guess.
Let's see. Do. I used to work at McDonald's in a rich neighborhood. Policy at the time of my departure was to lock up the place lock up the play place room after a pair of teenagers during some busy time snuck inside and had sex in the play place. The guy then took a diarrhea dump down the slide. It's now locked up. At another store, one late evening in one part of the town, we had a guy drive his car through the play place glass and kill one of the staff who was cleaning the play place. That rich local McDonald's was the worst place on earth. I hope the teenagers who I encountered there regret everything they did on their deathbeds.
Oh my god.
Hold it back up. He killed someone? I'm going to need to know more here because it sounds like a good bracket bad, you know what I mean, story. I'd come in that night due to my sleep pattern being shot for something to eat because they were closed by and all that good stuff. I arrived to find one of the more usual crowds, teenagers that left the clubs early or had taken the night off from after a house party crashed by, and the cops. Anyway, one guy who was really drunk, possibly on drugs, was trying to leave the bag of food and trying to convince some girl to go home with him, and that it would be okay even if he was smashed. She ended up not getting in his van with him, and that was lucky for her. He backed his van up, then for some unexplained reason decides to go forward again. He went up over the shallow curb and through the window into the play place. He took out tables, chairs, and slammed a poor guy who they had paid to clean the floors against the wall. The driver then basically just stayed in his van and suspended in disbelief until the cops came. The employee was pronounced dead on the spot as his torso had been smashed by an unstoppable force, the van, and the immovable object, a concrete inner wall. Wow.
Oh my.
That kind of makes the story I just found seem quite lighthearted.
Oh.
Alright.
Well then. We need something a little more lighter that got a bit dark quickly.
Yeah, this one is... another one from Reddit. I worked at a local Dairy Queen whilst I was in high school. If you're not familiar, Dairy Queen is like an ice cream, like a fast food ice cream place.
Okay, I think I may have heard of it. Don't know if we have it over here.
I think it could be an American thing.
Alright.
One day, a mum brings her little boy in, and they order the cotton candy Blizzard. Blizzard's like a McFlurry, from what I can see, at least. This might possibly have been the worst Blizzard flavour ever, as it was somewhat like milky, sugary napalm. Anyway, he starts inhaling it as soon as it's in his grubby hands, and finishes the whole thing before his mum's even finished paying. 10 seconds later, I hear those famous last... I don't feel so good.
Oh no.
Right before I see a spectacular Technicolor projectile vomit pattern ejected right into the glass door.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Into the glass door.
Mum takes her medium cone and leaves without apologising.
As you do.
No.
Fucking spectacular Technicolor
Exactly,
projectile
yes, you do.
vomit.
Tactical vomit incoming.
I imagine
it's like something from The Exorcist.
Yeah, something a mix between The Exorcist and the rainbow vomit filter on Snapchat.
Oh my god.
Get on that. Wow.
That's a big vomit. You know, I think I remember like the vomit they used in The Exorcist that was like mushy peas or something and corn flour.
Did you hear the story about that? That like, was it the actors were so grossed up, or like so grossed out by the fake vomit that they actually vomited themselves?
Oh yeah, I think I heard that. The things you have to do for acting.
Let's see. Yeah, they're getting through the... Oh wow. It happens in the UK is wacky warehouses, but being British, we tend to own up. Looking after a friend's kid. When we were a toddler, he was in the ball pit looking distressed, so I fished him out to see that he'd had a code 13 nappy emergency. Translator, code 13. Oh Lord Jesus, you've got a hyperdimensional vortex in there. There can't possibly be that much crap generated that it sprays out over the back of the nappy into your clothes and into the surrounding ball pit. Oh God, no. I let the supervisor know as I haul the child away for a change, and she waves her hand. Oh, it happens all the time. I've not put a kid in one of those places since.
Oh dear.
My goodness.
Oh yeah, so I guess for context for anyone, Wacky Warehouse, it's like, I don't know, McDonald's, but it's in a restaurant called the Vine Inn, or Premier Inn is where it's connected, and they now have a kids area called Wacky Warehouse. I only went there once for like, I don't know, like, I think it was like my younger sister wanted to have a birthday there or something. It was just seeing what it was, and it was just checking it. It looks nice, but I don't know, I haven't been there, but it's always there every time I check it. Oh, what's that noise?
Oh, hello.
Huh.
Like,
Welcome to the stream.
Microphone
Welcome to the
weird
stream.
noise. It's as if someone's like brushing their teeth in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like someone's making coffee.
someone just doing the hoovering, just doing the house job.
Yeah.
So who
all
are
I
you?
Oh, that's Sonic. He's a friend of mine. His name is Paul.
Oh yeah, okay.
I work at Vivo.
Okay, so welcome to the live stream where we're talking about fast things, about vomiting and explosive diarrhea.
All the fun stuff in life.
Yep.
Who's streaming?
Me. Nobody's watching.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think anyone's watching.
no one's
but-
watching it.
But-
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, nobody cares.
The only viewer is Jake Paul.
Anyway, let's see.
Jeez, that's kind of loud. What's going on in the background?
I'm looking for
It's
stories.
like it sounds like it's like you're outside in the middle of like a frosty winter or something.
It's like, what is this about kids shitting in? What is it about kids shitting in the McDonald's play place?
I don't know. It's
I-
probably because they're like younger. They probably don't know like where to. They probably no one will know. Maybe they think
Well, I mean,
that.
if you've got to go, you've got to go.
Yeah, you just gotta go.
Yeah, but
It's
inside the play place.
they probably think it would just magically disappear.
No,
could
that's someone
end
else's problem.
Like
You gotta feel bad for the janitors. Jesus.
we just may never know. It's just one of Earth's greatest mysteries.
That's it. I remember once when I was a teenager, I went to McDonald's with one of my little cousins. While we were there, some kid managed to climb to the top of the play place on the outside of it and had his pants off, not just pulled down. He then proceeded to shit all over one of the mesh tubes, which ended up dripping down onto the kids that were crawling through it, and some kids that were on the
no.
ground underneath.
Jeez,
Wow.
I can't seem to hear you, Sonic.
Yeah, your mic is going pretty much like.
Yeah, we can't really hear you that well.
Yeah, it's the shitty mic I got from my country.
Um.
Oh my God,
You know, look.
I'm accidentally opening Skype. Stop.
Mistakes were made. So,
Luckily, the times I went to play places like that happened.
I don't think I've ever I think there's been to maybe one or two play places in my entire life, and I don't remember. It must have been very uneventful.
Yeah, I guess it's just luck. The only time I've been to play places, the one time I was talking about 70 Sands and the mouldy cocktail sausage underneath climbing bits, just forming dust around it.
That is horrifying.
It was, yeah. Luckily I never came across any food or anything. But my parents always I guess my mum always warned me that the ball pit was kind of dirty, so she wanted me to be careful.
What are we talking about?
Oh, we was just talking about play places. Oh, I was telling you last night, Manters. I just remember the times where I would go into the ball pit, I'll get one of the balls, and I'll just put it underneath my t-shirt, pretend I was fat or pregnant for some reason.
Oh my God.
It's just like, hey guys, I'm pregnant. I was small at the time, so fine. It was an innocent time.
I remember I said it in like the past live stream about the time when they had the thing in like the ball pit where they had the balls that like the machine that made like the balls float. And I
Oh
tried to,
yes,
yeah,
that one.
I tried
wow.
to like I like tried to jump on it because I thought it would make me like float. And then I just went like, oh, and crashed straight onto the top of it and didn't float, and my dreams were crushed that day.
Rip in peace.
My dreams were crushed, and I got winded by a ball air machine.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
how tragic.
Oh my goodness, there's like a huge one here. Absolutely
Oh
huge.
jeez.
Okay, part 1 of 2. I worked the overnight, midnight to 8 a.m. maintenance shift for many years. It was my job to first clean and then sanitize the tables, chairs, washroom, various toys, plastic houses for the kiddies, etc. That alone will take such a long time. The longest was ever 3 hours for a space spanning 24 tables. The reality is that most people leave behind huge messes when it's too busy to take. Whenever it's too busy to take care of it, I was left to cleaning it. So I waited while the floor to dry, relished in the lack of urine from the whole room due to the chemical smell of the cleaners. The next job was to take a bucket. I learned the hard way, only ever to take a 2-liter bucket with me. Not because of the amount of sanitizer that laced the hot water, but because of how dirty the inside was. I would stop halfway through to redo the bucket with fresh sanitizer, mixed hot water, and finish the second half from the inside to the middle. Because by then the first half would be dry, I wouldn't leave handprints, leg scuffs. Oh, okay. Next came the outside. The outside requires you to go over it with a wrench to retighten every nut, bolt, and plastic tie. I was very impressed by this. By this part was usually in the official report I had to make. With so many little ones and more in the play place, the vibrations alone would rotate the nuts and bolts with surprising ease over the course of several days. They would throw in for a cordless screwdriver to guarantee a certain speed and efficiency, not to mention my sore arms. So I was stuck with a basic set of screwdrivers. So equivalently armed with plastic ties, I'd learned to redo broken ties around the foam tubes. These are more efficient than you think in absorbing a little one's arms and legs, etc. They're so thick that most kids don't feel the metal structure of the play place. After the screwdriving buckle, I then go over to this metal. Naturally, nobody wants that stuff to buckle. In my entire time, none of the metal backbone ever bent out of shape or showed signs of metal corrosion or metal fatigue. Well, the ball pit I always left for last. Being in a city of 50,000, the bulk of kids would use the ball pit weren't insanely dirty. But I had my share of nightmarish nights. But you get used to it after a few months. Every once in a while, you'd find a special hell in store for you. I've found what you expect, besides sometimes more. The worst night, I was only 8 weeks into the job. I was happier with the higher pay rate and the weekends off. I was having a great day even. I had taken to bringing with me a portable stereo to play tapes and CDs. The soundproofing was so effective I could play rock I was into at the highest volume and not bother a single person in the lobby. I cleaned off a table and put the stereo on the now clean table and played a CD I brought. Something was bothering me from the get-go and I couldn't place my finger on it. I checked the place for stray kids, wallets, nothing. So I shrugged and moved on. I got to the pit and that's when it hit me. I could smell something. Even with the chemical cleaning smells, the sanitizer-laced water, the airflow being practically breezy. Sometimes the air wouldn't flow at all and you'd smell sweat in the work. I should stop here and tell you how I actually clean the plastic balls in the pit. It'll make more sense. Right, so we take 20 mesh laundry bags and fill it up until the point where I could barely touch my fingers if I wrap my arms around it, with just enough room to move those buggers about. And then, how did I fill the bag? One night after doing it by hand, swearing I'd never again, I figured out a quick method. Back then, the garbage bins at our location had an inner square frame where you'd wrap the garbage bag around. That way the plastic wouldn't overflow out of the garbage can and make it look bad. It was all tucked in nicely. I took that square frame. The lobby cleaner hated it. I mean, hated that I took it because it was one of his precious garbage bags that didn't look right the day before he left some people. I would place it on top of the mesh laundry bag and scoop up the balls. Each and every one of those bags was completely filled in 10 minutes. Despite this, I'd lose a few plastic balls every evening, and yeah, too little of them to take up loads of garbage. Anyway, the water cooled from boiling. I'd wheel it to the play place. Then I'd take one bag and dump it in the bin. This would scald the plastic. Since they move around a bit, I take the opportunity to use the other balls, the mesh, and size. There'd be a lot of movement going on. The entire process would take 2.5 hours. So anyway, back to the night. I'd already figured out the ball pit was the source of my worries for that night. Just everything except it was cleaned by that point anyway. So I was basically psyching myself for the worst to come. It turns out I wasn't prepared as I thought I was. So when you have to clean the ball pit, well, first thing you should do is put all the balls into the pit that have